Football fans, what up though? Welcome back to Full Contact Football, and we are still looking at this Super Bowl as there is much to digest and dissect in terms of matchups and football scheme. So today we're going to look at Travis Kelce and Fred Warner. These are two dogs. These are arguably the best guys at their position of Fred Warner, middle linebacker, Travis Kelce, tight end. So there's ultimately about 22 clips where these guys were either mano-a-mano or Travis Kelce was in direct conflict of Fred Warner's zone drops. So we're going to take a look at those one-on-one battles, those zone situations, and just talk through the scheme and have some fun with it. Enjoy. All right, looking at this film here, guys, we got quarter zone on 3rd and 12. All right, as we look at it, this is going to be the strong side of the field. The Chiefs are using Kelce on motion to try to identify whether or not we're getting man or zone here. He's going to end up being number 3 versus Warner, who's going to be the middle hook player here in this quarter zone. So as the motion gets settled, Kelce becomes number 3, so he's going to be in direct conflict with Warner's zone. Kelce's just looking to get to the down and distance markers and run an OTB, just line up right over the ball. Easy throw for Mahomes if he has it. Warner and Greenlaw do a good job of vicing this here and sharing that responsibility in the zone. Mahomes has to take the check down. Warner and Greenlaw vice that tackle up. And as they should, they're super excited. All right, moving on to the next one. Okay, so these are all in sequence. Ideally, there were roughly about 20 times that Kelce and Warner kind of cross paths, and I just kind of cut that down to the ones that actually kind of matter for entertainment purposes. All right, so once again, you got another quarter zone here on 3rd and forever. Kelce's going to be to the 3-man side again. He's going to be the final number 3, so he just comes into conflict with Warner's zone. All right, they might even dropped into a cover 3 robber there. All right, with the backside safety not really getting as deep. It's kind of tough to tell. He doesn't have much to do backside here with his number 2 being shallow. All right, so moving on. Like I said, let's get to the good stuff. So this was the first 3rd down where Warner and Kelce were truly locked up, man-to-man, mano-a-mano. Comes in the second quarter on a 3rd down. This one's definitely a 2-man concept. All right, that backside safety on Kelce's side may even be looking to rob Kelce directly. All right, but for the most part, you have Warner here in squared up stance, going for a 2-hand press here. Kelce just tries to get off. There's a little bit of a hold. All right, but Warner's ultimately going to win this, just to land Kelce enough that he can't get the easy throw over the ball. Anytime they run that dig route for one of the primary receivers, they're just trying to get the quarterback an easy pass. I mean, there is no easier pass than just throwing the ball right down the middle of that hash as you're standing on your plate there. All right, so Warner did a good enough job to delay that and made Mahomes have to find another option. Okay, so here as we get down in the red zone, this is a little bit later in the second quarter. All right, we got a 2-high concept from these safeties. Looks like cover 2 to me. All right, you'll see them kind of push off the hash. It's not too dramatic, but enough to see that Warner is going to be responsible for number 3 down the middle of the field here. The Chiefs are going to do a good job by manipulating that, and that's just something you see in film study in preparation for the game. So this is definitely intentional. So Kelce's gonna run down the middle of the seam and then try to bend into that hole shot there, influencing Warner, and he does a good enough job. So Warner has to play this deep to short. They just sneak right up under him. Warner does a good enough job to be able to react to that, but ultimately this is probably one of the first wins for Kelce as he's used as bait here on this one. Warner bit the bait. Now we're going to get to a 1 robber situation. We're into the 3rd quarter now, 3rd and short. Okay, so once again, we get into this 2-high look concept All right, where it looks like it may be two-man, the 49ers were choosing to rob the safety nearest Kelce to try to pick him off. So if he's running drag routes, he's running in routes, Warner has additional help there. Okay. So Kelce's going to give him a good hesitation. Warner's doing a good job understanding his leverage and where his help is, so he's going to attack that outside shoulder. And you can tell that strength that Warner has as an inside linebacker kind of bothered Kelce a little bit throughout the game. Whereas if you had the opportunity to watch Kyle Hamilton play him in the week before in the AFC Championship game, he was just a little bit stronger than Kyle and was able to get off of some of those press concepts here. But ultimately, another win for Warner as he forces Mahomes not to be able to get to Kelce on 3rd and short. That is one of his best targets. Can't get to him on the second read, tries to force it, and they just got him viced up pretty good there. All right. So now into the fourth quarter. All right, fortunes start to change a little bit for the 49ers and the Chiefs, as well as this matchup. Kelce starts to get a few more wins here. All right, in this particular look, we're going to get a 3 robber. All right, so you're going to have one of the safeties drop down into an underneath seam zone. All right, Warner's still going to be responsible for playing off of Kelce here, dropping to his seam, playing off of number 2, ultimately taking the final number 3. All right, so your robber ended up coming from the same side as Kelce again. So Warner being the last man on this side of the zone, he can't allow anything to cross his face back here because there's no guarantee that the backside flats player, which is matching up, will be there to cover Kelce coming back across the field here. All right, so that's why Warner's going to stick and try to man onto that. All right, so not necessarily a win or a loss for anybody there. All right, here we're getting back to 3rd down. All right, the Chiefs are in a 2-by-2 formation. The Niners are in their A-gap mug look with wide alignment, wide rush alignments here. So we're going to get pressure. Now this pressure is somewhat unique because we're going to get a hard corner in the flats here. This safety is going to look to overlap number 1 and that 3rd to the field or to the boundary rather. This safety is going to be deep middle. Between these two guys here, they're going to play the seams just based on the matchups, and then this is a thirds player as well. Now what the Chiefs do, as we see this play out here, we're going to get motion to 3-by-1. Okay? With that motion, it changes the structure of this defense. 3-by-1s, double tight ends, empty formations are always going to cause some sort of check, some sort of communication between the defense because there's just multiple conflicts on the field here. This particular one with the Chiefs, with this being 3, Warner is responsible for that for final number 3 here. The disguise of this 3 role puts this safety in conflict. Warner understands that, so he sticks with that seam route maybe a little bit longer than he wanted to, and that allows Kelce to come underneath. Once again, he's over the football, so this is a super easy throw for Mahomes, and this is the 1st down. So this is just a little bit of a chess battle between the offensive and defensive coordinators, executed by the chess pieces out on the field. All right, so now we get another quarter zone. All right, Warner's wrong here, at least in my opinion, but what do I know? This particular one, we get a 3-by-1 bunch. All right, the bunch is created by the running back in the backfield. Just scoot back just a little bit so y'all can see that. All right, so this is a non-traditional bunch here. All right, but we're gonna get a lot of stack releases, so it's gonna cause these guys in zone to have to be really good in reading the routes, communicating with one another, and then getting into the right areas. Warner should be dropping to number 3 here. All right, so if you just read the numbers here, you got 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Open up front or backside to number 3. That'll put him right there in the vicinity of Kelce. But once again, it's just too easy for Mahomes to be able to see that. So I think another win for Kelce there. All right, looking at this one, we got a 1 robber. Okay. So you got Warner, Kelce manned up. They're going to use the safety nearest Kelce to rob this route. Warner bodies Kelce here. All right, Kelce, like I said, was struggling with the press of Warner. All right, which I think gives Warner another win here. All right, moving on. All right, so no huddle. Chiefs are trying to get back in line. We got quarters again, or cover two concept, or too high safety concept rather. I believe this was quarters. All right, based on the way that the safeties are dropping, the corners are dropping, I would say so. So Warner again is going to be responsible for the middle hook of number 3. 3's vertical, 2's underneath. Doesn't bite the bait as much this time. Ultimately giving them the win for no gain. Third down, money down, clutch time. All right, so you see Warner and Kelce down bottom here. Near safety is going to be the guy that's going to be our robber. All right, I personally, all right, I'm not an NFL coordinator, but I've done this enough that I personally think if you're going to rob a particular receiver, you should do it from the opposite side, just for these situations here like mesh. It gives the robber a little bit more leverage to actually help out. Gray does a good job of screening Warner, and this is a very legal play because he doesn't touch Warner. All he does is influences his path to continue to guard Kelce, and you can even see Warner's a little disgusted with it at the end there because they know they got one on him. All right, this is a huge play at this point because we're talking 3rd and 7 with the Chiefs needing a field goal to tie this ball game. All right, so we're 4th quarter here. Even more clutch time. All right, so we're in the red zone. We're getting a 2-man look where the DBs are chasing the motion. But how this plays out, I think this is more of a match coverage. I think they're in some sort of 2 match where, hey, we're going to make it look like man, but we're ultimately going to play cover 2 zone. So even though Warner's matched up on Kelce, I think he's more of the flats player here, but he does a good enough job of playing the back shoulder fade, which once again, if you're watching a week or 2 ago, all right, Kyle Hamilton wasn't able to defend that as well. And Mahomes probably doesn't get his best football out there to Kelce on this one either. But another win for Warner. Now, we're into the overtime. This is another quarter situation. 2 high safeties. Okay, we're looking at this as 1, 2, 3. Not necessarily a bunch, but the flats player is going to be responsible for expanding with the running back, leaving Warner man-to-man on Kelce, who then slips underneath the lineman for the tight end screen, ultimately setting up the go-ahead touchdown play here. All right, so Warner has to really fight to get to Kelce. All right, doesn't necessarily win that one-on-one tackling battle when he does get there. All right, but hey, I'll leave this up to you guys in the comments section and let me know whether you thought Kelce won these battles or Warner won them when they were one-on-one, man-to-man. My opinion, I felt like Warner got the better of those matchups, but ultimately this is a team game, and the real winner, is the guy who goes home with the championship ring at the end of the day. But y'all let me know what y'all think. Like, comment, subscribe, continue to follow the page. Appreciate you.